Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sneha, and today I'll be filming a video all about covering under eye dark circles. So if that's something that interests you, please continue watching. Now, I personally do not have dark circles, so I'm not the right candidate for this video. And I've always wanted to get my husband on my channel because he has really bad dark circles. He's quite low maintenance. He refuses to use an eye cream, so there's nothing I can do about it. Because of our schedules, we've never been able to find time to film this video, and I know a lot of you guys have asked for it in the past, so I hope this is helpful to you guys. But since we're on lockdown, what better time to get him on here? So let's get started. Big thanks to Anand for being such a sport and bearing his dark circles in full glory. So, first, I'm going to start with skincare, which is really important, especially for clients such as my husband right here, who probably don't have a good skincare routine. So, I'm going to start with an eye cream. This is by the brand Embryolisse. It's the Smoothing Eye Contour Care Cream. And I like this one because it has enough moisture and conditioning properties for the under eye area, but at the same time doesn't make my concealer or corrector that I'm going to use crease, which is very important. I find many other richer under eye creams can sometimes cause creasing, especially because my husband does have a lot of wrinkles and fine lines under his eyes. So we want to avoid anything too rich. So I'm going to take a small amount and just pat it gently with my ring finger on the under eye area. So for his skin prep, I forgot to add a face moisturizer just because I was focused on the under eye area so much. But ideally, you would also have moisturized your face. For concealer corrector, I'm going in with this palette by MAC. This is the Pro Conceal and Correct palette, and the shade is medium deep. From this palette, I'm going to be taking the shades NC42. Now, this is a shade slightly deeper than Anand's skin tone, but I'm going to work with this because NC40 has a different pinky kind of undertone, whereas NC42 has a more yellow golden undertone. So I'm going to stick with NC42. Now, when I look at the color wheel, I'm going to show you on the other eye. Most of the discoloration that I see under his eyes have a purple-blue undertone, which is very helpful. If you have the Terry Tomlinson color wheel, you can just place it next to your client's under eye area or any discoloration that they may have, and you can find out the exact undertone the problem area has. And to correct it, you want something that's diagonally opposite to it, so something with an orange, red-orange undertone, which is why I'm going in with this orange corrector from the palette. It's called Burnt Coral. And then lastly, I'm also going to take some of the rich yellow shade, and that's essentially to brighten up certain areas, but I'll tell you once we get to that step. So I'm using a soft blending brush. This is the Refer 01 brush, and I'm mixing first the base shade, which is NC42, with a bit of the orange corrector. Now, I personally do not like to go in straight with an orange corrector just because I find that the pigment becomes too strong, and then you need so much more of the concealer to kind of balance out the coloring. Bringing it back to the skin tone is what I mean. So that's why I prefer mixing a bit of the corrector into the concealer instead of using the corrector first as a separate step, if that makes sense. So just mixing them and then just patting it gently on his under eye area. I'm adding more orange to those areas where he has a little bit more discoloration. So for him, it's mostly on the outer corner of the eye and the inside corner. So again, you can see that this color is beautifully neutralizing all the purple blue tones that he had in his skin. And then to brighten up certain areas, especially that deep socket which he has under his eyes, I'm going in with the yellow and applying it to that area and using the shade to brighten up the outside edges of the under eye area. And then to blend the edges with the surrounding skin, I'm going in first with the skin tone color, which is NC42, and gently buffing away the edges. So once we have that, I'm just going to gently pat away any creases that may happen, which is quite normal, especially because he has quite deep wrinkles and fine lines. So I'm just gently patting away any of the concealer corrector that has seeped into the lines. And once I have that, I'm just quickly grabbing some powder on my MAC 240S brush and gently patting it all over the under eye area. Now, this may look excessive at this stage, but I do want a little bit of not baking per se, but I do want the powder to be almost absorbed by the creamy concealers, if that makes sense, to set it. So that's the reason I've taken this amount of powder, and I'm going to leave it for about a minute or so. Sorry, I forgot to show the powder on camera, but it is by Sensai and it's the translucent powder. So while that's doing its job, I am then just applying a little bit of foundation because it looks odd with the concealer ending right on the under eye area. So just so it looks more cohesive and so you can get a better idea of how it would look with a full face of makeup, I'm going in with the Dior Face and Body Foundation. Just applying a light layer of that on the cheeks and the forehead and a bit on the nose. Meanwhile, the powder should have done its job, so I'm just dusting away any excess. Again, just going back and making sure there is no creasing. So going in with the refill brush and then again with whatever powder is remaining on the powder brush. Lastly, I'm going to use a setting spray just to bring back some of the glow on the skin. So I'm using the Fresh Glow Setting Spray by Beauty Pie. And then once that dries up, this is what his skin looks like. So as you can see, almost all the discoloration has been covered. It still doesn't look cakey or heavy. It just blends seamlessly into the tones on his skin. And you can compare the two halves and see the difference. By the way, if you'd like to see the details and how I got this look, definitely follow me on Instagram. I will be doing a tutorial there with this look. So I'm going to put up my Instagram handle right here. So I really hope this video was useful to you guys, especially to those of you who had asked for it. If you have any questions, definitely leave it in the comment section below. And if this video was helpful, consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.